Clock is brought to you by Modelo.
That's what you do every single fight.
Leon, your time's gonna come.
You're about to see how a Miami street fighter became a UFC legend. Jorge Masvidal's journey is wild, and trust me, you're not ready for what happens when he finally gets his shot at the big time. But let's rewind. Miami streets, rough as hell. That's where Jorge grew up, throwing hands on the regular. Dude was born for this fight life. Then bam! Masvidal takes it to the backyards. You know Kimbo Slice? Yeah, that Kimbo. Rest in peace. Now, Jorge used to roll with him, and suddenly everyone's eyes are on this new kid who loves to fight. He's got that something special. He's got that dog in him. But hold up. You think getting noticed was enough? Nah, man. Masvidal's road to the top? It's gonna blow your mind. We're talking years of blood, sweat, and straight-up crazy moments. You ready for this? 'Cause it's about to get real. So Masvidal got noticed. Big deal, right? Wrong. Dude spent a decade grinding it out in small-time promotions. Ever heard of hook and shoot? Didn't think so. That's where Jorge was throwing hands while you were probably still in diapers. Yeah, we're talking 2003. Masvidal's first pro fight. He knocks the guy out, and everyone's like, this kid's going places. But let me tell you, those places weren't exactly glamorous. We're talking dingy gyms, smoky bars, anywhere that had let two dudes beat the crap out of each other. But Masvidal? He didn't care. He was there to fight, and fight he did. Dude racked up a 3-0 record in Bodog Fight. Never heard of it? Don't worry, nobody has. But that's where Jorge hit Eve Edwards with a head kick that had people talking. Suddenly, bigger promotions were looking his way. 2009 rolls around and Bellator comes calling. Masvidal's thinking, this is it. I'm gonna be a star. But life ain't that easy. He wins his first fight, then bam, gets caught in a submission by Toby Amada. And get this, it was so crazy, it won submission of the year. Talk about a mixed bag. But Masvidal didn't let it stop him. Nah, he kept pushing, kept fighting, even when he lost to Paul Daly in shark fights, even when he couldn't grab that Strikeforce belt from Gilbert Melendez. Every loss, every setback, just fuel for the fire. And then finally, the call comes. UFC, the big leagues. But don't think this is where it gets easy. Nah, this is where it gets real. Masvidal's first few fights, up and down like a roller coaster. 1 minute, he's submitting Michael Chiesa, showing he's more than just a striker. The next, he's struggling to find his footing. But here's the thing about Masvidal. Dude's got that Miami street in him, that backyard brawler spirit. He doesn't know how to quit, so he keeps at it, keeps improving, keeps evolving. From a kid throwing hands in Kimbo's backyard to a well-rounded fighter in the world's biggest MMA promotion. 10 years. That's how long it took Masvidal to go from his first pro fight to the UFC. 10 years of blood, sweat, and probably a few broken bones. But he made it. 2013, Jorge Masvidal, UFC fighter. Has a nice ring to it, right? Masvidal finally got his shot at the big show. But here's the kicker. Sometimes getting what you want is scarier than chasing it. UFC's where dreams come true, or get crushed. Which way was Jorge's story gonna go? Dude steps into the octagon for his UFC debut in 2013. Pressure's on, everyone's watching. This ain't no backyard brawl or small-time promotion. It's the real deal. And Masvidal, he's got to prove he belongs. First fight, he's up against Tim Means. Masvidal comes out swinging, shows everyone he's not just some scrub. Wins by unanimous decision. Not bad for a start, right? But hold up, because this ride's just beginning. Next up, Michael Chiesa. Now, this fight's interesting. Masvidal gets dropped in the first round. People are thinking, is this it? Is he done? But nah, our boy ain't going out like that. He comes back, locks in a Darce choke, and makes Chiesa tap. Just like that, Masvidal's showing he's more than just a striker. But you know how it goes in the fight game. 1 minute you're up, next you're down. Masvidal's next fight, Rustam Khabilov. Tough Russian wrestler. Masvidal loses by unanimous decision. But get this, it's so good they both get fight of the night bonus. That's 50 grand, baby. Now, Masvidal's record in his first 10 UFC fights, 6-4. Not exactly setting the world on fire, but every fight, win or lose, he's learning. He's evolving. Remember that kid from the Miami streets? He's turning into a complete fighter right before our eyes. Then comes the Donald Cerrone fight. This is where things start to get interesting. Masvidal's moving up to welterweight, bigger guys, harder punches. But Masvidal, he don't care. He goes in there and puts on a striking clinic, beats Cerrone so bad, they stop the fight. Performance of the night bonus, cha-ching. But even with all this, Masvidal's still not a household name. He's that guy hardcore fans know about, but casuals don't recognize. He's tough, he's skilled, but something's missing. That star quality, you know? Then bam! March 2019, Masvidal versus Darren Till. Till's the hometown hero in London. Everyone's expecting him to win. But Masvidal, he knocks Till out cold, shuts up the whole arena. And just like that, people start paying attention. Masvidal silenced the London crowd, but he was just getting started. What if I told you his next fight would last only 5 seconds and change the course of his entire career? The birth of Gamebred was about to begin. See, knocking out Darren Till was cool and all, but it didn't make Masvidal a household name. Nah, that came from something deeper, something that had been brewing since his days on the Miami streets. Enter Gamebred. That's what they started calling Masvidal, and let me tell you, it fits like a glove. It's not just some random nickname. It's who Jorge is at his core, a fighter born and bred for the game. Tough as nails, ready to scrap anytime, anywhere. And man, did Masvidal start living up to that name. Suddenly, he wasn't just fighting, he was putting on a show. In interviews, he'd crack jokes, talk trash, and just be himself. No fake persona, no BS. Just raw, unfiltered Masvidal. And people ate it up. Remember that Darren Till fight? After the knockout, Masvidal's backstage interview went viral. After Masvidal's win over Till, Edwards approached Masvidal during a backstage interview and exchanged words. Masvidal then landed a few quick punches on Edwards, later referring to it as the 3-piece and a soda combo. He's there, face all busted up, talking about how he put the 3-piece and a soda on him. That's Masvidal speak for a combo of punches, by the way. And just like that, a catchphrase was born. But Masvidal wasn't done. Nah, he was just getting started. His next fight, against Ben Askren. Undefeated wrestler, talks a big game. Everyone's thinking Masvidal's gonna get taken down and smothered. But Masvidal, he's got other plans. In the lead up to the fight, Masvidal's talking mad trash. He's in Askren's head, and you can see it. But it's not just talk. Masvidal's in the gym, practicing something big, something that's gonna shock the world. Fight night comes. Masvidal's in the corner, hands behind his back. Ref says go, and bam! Masvidal flies across the octagon with a flying knee, connects flush. Askren's out cold, 5 seconds. That's all it took. Fastest knockout in UFC history. After the fight, Masvidal's not done. He's mimicking Askren's stiff body, talking more trash. It's wild, it's controversial, but damn if it isn't entertaining. And just like that, Gamebred Masvidal becomes the talk of the MMA world. But here's the thing about Masvidal, he doesn't forget where he came from. After the fight, he's asked about the knockout, and what does he say? I had to show him that there are consequences sometimes. There are some bad mother-ers out there. You don't want to wake them up. That's pure Miami street fighter right there. The Askren knockout? It changed everything. Suddenly Masvidal's not just another fighter. He's a superstar. He's getting big fights, making big money. UFC even gives him a new contract. 8 fights, big bucks. Masvidal's arrived, and he's here to stay. But don't think Masvidal's letting it go to his head. Nah, he's still that same kid from the streets of Miami. Still got that chip on his shoulder. Still ready to throw down with anyone, anytime. Yo, you think you know Masvidal's story? Hold up. We're about to see what happens when that Miami street fighter meets a UFC superstar backstage. Spoiler alert, it involves food, but not in the way you'd expect. It's March 2019, London. Masvidal just knocked out Darren Till, and he's feeling himself. He's backstage, doing an interview, when Leon Edwards rolls up. Now, Edwards is no joke. He's a top-ranked welterweight and future champ, and he's got something to say to Masvidal. But here's the thing about Jorge. He don't play. Edwards starts talking trash, and Masvidal, he ain't having it. He walks up to Edwards, hands behind his back like he's all cool and calm. Then bam! Masvidal unleashes a combo that leaves Edwards with a cut on his face. Now, most fighters would be all no comment after something like that. But Masvidal? Nah, he's different. When asked about it later, he says he gave Edwards a 3-piece and a soda. Like, it's a damn combo meal or something. And just like that, a catchphrase is born. This 3-piece and a soda thing, it blows up. We're talking viral, trending on Twitter, memes everywhere. Suddenly, everyone's talking about Masvidal. He's not just some fighter anymore. He's that 3-piece and a soda guy. But here's where it gets wild. This incident, it don't hurt Masvidal's career. Nah, it takes it to a whole new level. See, in the fight game, being tough is one thing. But being tough and having personality? That's money, baby. Masvidal's 3-piece and a soda moment shows he's got that street fighter mentality. He ain't afraid to scrap, in or out of the cage. And fans, they eat that up. They want fighters who are real, who ain't afraid to mix it up. After this, Masvidal's popularity skyrockets. His social media blows up. He's getting more interviews, more attention. The UFC starts pushing him harder. He's not just a fighter anymore, he's becoming a star. But it ain't just about fame. This 3-piece and a soda thing, it becomes part of Masvidal's brand. It's on t-shirts, it's in his promos. Every time he fights, you can bet someone's gonna bring it up. It's like his calling card. And get this, it even changes how other fighters see him. They know now that Masvidal ain't just talk. He'll throw down anytime, anywhere. That respect, it's worth more than any belt in the fight game. But here's the crazy part. This backstage scrap, it's just the appetizer. Masvidal's about to serve up a main course that'll shock the whole damn world. We're talking a moment so big, so unexpected, it'll make 3-piece and a soda look like a snack. Remember when we said Masvidal was going to shock the world? Well, he's about to do it faster than you can say knockout. What happens when a Miami street fighter meets an undefeated wrestling champ in the octagon? We're talking a moment so big, so unexpected, it'll make 3-piece and a soda look like a snack. July 6, 2019, UFC 239. Masvidal's standing across from Ben Askren. Now, Askren's no joke. Dude's undefeated Olympic wrestler talks trash like nobody's business. Everyone's thinking Askren's gonna ragdoll Masvidal, show him what real wrestling's all about. But Masvidal, he's got other plans. In the lead up to the fight, he's talking mad trash. He's telling everyone who'll listen, that dude was talking wild, man. I had to show him that there are consequences sometimes. Masvidal's in Askren's head, and you can see it. Fight night comes. Masvidal's in the corner, hands behind his back, looking cool as a cucumber. Ref says go, and bam! Masvidal flies across the octagon like a damn missile. Flying knee right to Askren's face. Connects flush. Askren's out cold before he hits the ground. 5 seconds. That's all it took. Fastest knockout in UFC history. The whole arena's going nuts. People can't believe what they just saw. Masvidal's not done though. He's mimicking Askren's stiff body, talking more trash. It's wild, it's controversial, but damn if it ain't entertaining. Let's break it down in slow-mo. Masvidal starts running the second the bell rings. Askren, thinking he's gonna get an easy takedown, ducks his head. Big mistake. Masvidal's knee connects right on the button. Askren's unconscious before he even realizes what hit him. Masvidal gets in 2 more shots before the ref can pull him off. It's brutal, it's quick. It's exactly what Masvidal promised. Social media explodes. Everyone's talking about Masvidal, from backyard brawler to UFC superstar in 5 seconds flat. The knockouts replayed everywhere, on SportsCenter, on YouTube, on every MMA forum out there. Masvidal's gone viral, and not just in the fight world. After the fight, Masvidal's all fired up. He's telling everyone, I really wanted to beat his ass for 14 minutes and 55 seconds, but it didn't happen. That's Masvidal for you. Even after the fastest knockout in UFC history, he's still not satisfied. This knockout, it changed everything for Masvidal. Suddenly, he's not just another fighter. He's a superstar. He's getting big fights, making big money. UFC even gives him a new contract. 8 fights, big bucks. Masvidal's arrived, and he's here to stay. But here's the thing about being on top. Everyone's gunning for you. Every fighter in the welterweight division's calling out Masvidal. They all want a piece of the new star. And Masvidal, he's ready for all of them. Masvidal's on top of the world, but for how long? The higher you climb, the harder you fall. And in the UFC, that fall can come faster than a flying knee. So Masvidal just knocked out Ben Askren in 5 seconds. He's the talk of the town. Everyone wants a piece of him, but Masvidal, he's got his eyes on something bigger, something badder. He wants to be the baddest motherfucker in the game. Enter Nate Diaz. Another fan favorite, known for not giving a damn and always bringing the fight. UFC sets it up. Masvidal versus Diaz for the BMF title. And get this, they even got The Rock to present the belt. It's like a movie, but it's real life. November 2nd, 2019, Madison Square Garden. The atmosphere's electric. Masvidal and Diaz go at it for 3 rounds. It's a war. But Masvidal's too much. He's cutting Diaz up, landing big shots. The doc stops it after the 3rd. Masvidal wins by TKO. The Rock wraps that BMF belt around Masvidal's waist. It's official. Jorge Gamebred Masvidal is the baddest mother finesser in the UFC. From backyard brawls to the bright lights of MSG, it's a hell of a story. But here's the thing about being on top. Everyone's gunning for you, and the UFC, they've got bigger plans for Masvidal. They want him to fight for the real gold, the welterweight championship. July 11th, 2020. Masvidal steps in on super short notice to fight Kamaru Usman for the title. It's a big risk, but Masvidal's never been one to play it safe. But Usman, he's a different beast. He wrestles Masvidal for 5 rounds, wins a unanimous decision. Just like that, Masvidal's championship dreams are put on hold. But Masvidal ain't one to back down. He gets another shot at Usman on April 24th, 2021. This time, he's got a full camp. Everyone's thinking, this is it. Masvidal's gonna do it. But man, Usman's got other plans. He knocks Masvidal out cold in the 2nd round. It's Masvidal's first KO loss in the UFC. It's rough. Now, Masvidal's on a 2-fight skid. He needs a win bad. UFC sets him up with Colby Covington on March 5th, 2022. These guys used to be friends. Now they hate each other's guts. It's personal. But Covington? He wrestles Masvidal for 5 rounds just like Usman did. Another loss for Masvidal. But the drama don't stop in the octagon. A few weeks after the fight, Masvidal allegedly jumps Covington outside a restaurant in Miami. We're talking felony charges, possible prison time. It's bad, real bad. Suddenly, Masvidal's not just fighting in the cage. He's fighting in court too. There's a stay-away order. He's facing serious charges. The BMF title, the knockout record, all that seems like ancient history now. Masvidal's at rock bottom, 3 losses in a row, legal troubles. His career, it's hanging by a thread. But you know what they say about Masvidal? He's always got that dog in him. He's telling everyone, I'm not going to disappear from the sport without this belt being wrapped around my waist. You thought Masvidal was done? Think again. The man who started in backyards is about to show us why they call him Gamebred. But here's the real question. Can a fighter past his prime still shock the world? Masvidal's been down, but he ain't out. Dude's planning a comeback that's got everyone talking. He's eyeing a return to the UFC, and he's not looking for easy fights. Nah, Masvidal wants the big names, the tough opponents. He's telling everyone, when I get the biggest fights that I can possibly get, knock that motherfucker dead, they'll be begging me to fight for the title. But hold up, didn't this guy just lose 3 fights in a row? Yeah, he did. But Masvidal's got that fire in him. He's been training, staying ready. He's not just talking about coming back. He's making moves. Word is, he's in negotiations with the UFC right now. He's looking to fight either at the end of 2024 or early 2025. That's right, Gamebred's playing the long game. And get this, Masvidal's got his sights set on some big names. He's calling out Leon Edwards, talking about their built-in history. Remember that 3-piece and a soda backstage? Yeah, Masvidal wants to settle that score in the octagon, but he's not stopping there. He's mentioned wanting to scrap with Justin Gaethje and even Conor McGregor. Dude's aiming high. Now, you might be thinking, ain't Masvidal too old for this? But here's the thing. Age is just a number in MMA. Look at Glover Teixeira winning the title at 42, or Randy Couture coming back to win the heavyweight strap at 43. Masvidal? He's only 38. In his mind, he's just hitting his prime. But it ain't just about fighting for Masvidal anymore. Nah, he's thinking bigger. He's got his own promotion now, Gamebred Fighting Championship. He's gone from fighter to promoter. As he puts it, I was just another fighter, another slave in the Roman gladiator circus. I never thought I'd end up owning the circus. It's fucking amazing, man. Don't get it twisted, though. Masvidal ain't done fighting. Far from it. He's had a taste of boxing, but MMA's his true love. After his fight with Nate Diaz, Masvidal straight up said, "I had a blast doing the boxing. It was fun, but there's just nothing in the world that compares to MMA." He misses it. He needs it, and he's coming back for it. But here's the million-dollar question. Can Masvidal really come back and be a contender? Or is this just another case of a fighter who doesn't know when to hang him up? The UFC's welterweight division ain't no joke. It's stacked with killers, young, hungry fighters who've been watching Masvidal's highlight reels since they were kids. But if there's one thing we've learned about Masvidal, it's that you can never count him out. This is a guy who started fighting in backyards and ended up knocking out Ben Askren in 5 seconds. A guy who went from unknown journeyman to BMF champ. If anyone can make a comeback, it's Gamebred. Yo, Masvidal's story is wild, right? But it ain't just about fighting. It's about never giving up, no matter how tough things get. This dude went from street fights to UFC superstar, and he did it by staying true to himself. Remember when Masvidal said, "Sometimes your favorite basketball player doesn't have that three-pointer no more"? That's real talk. Life knocks you down, but you gotta get back up. And that's exactly what Masvidal's doing now. He's not just a fighter anymore. He's running his own show with Gamebred Fighting Championship. Masvidal's proving that you can always reinvent yourself. As he puts it, there's just nothing in the world that compares to MMA. It's just the funnest thing I've ever done in my life. So, what's your fight? What are you going to conquer today? Remember, if Masvidal can do it, so can you. Now get out there and show him what you're made of.